Welcome back into the Fantrax Toolshed YouTube channel. Eric Crossworthy here, going to be discussing my early 2023 third base rankings today. But before I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Got a lot of fun video up on the channel, some live footage from Arizona Fall League. We'll get more of that up soon as well. A lot of these early 2023 rankings videos and a lot of player breakdowns as well. So hit subscribe to see all of that. This third base position, I'm sure if you've heard me on Toolshed or even some articles, this is a very top-heavy position that you're going to want to secure pretty early in your drafts. Like, look at the left side of the graphic on your screen right now. The 5 names on the left, elite names, all being taken within the top 25 ADP. Then you got a little drop down to Arenado is going like around pick 50 or so. Another drop down to Bregman around pick 90. Henderson's a little after that. And then there's a massive, just colossal fall to the rest of the players here. But let's go down the top 10 real quick here. Jose Ramirez, one of the safest bets to return top 10, top 15 round value. Had a little bit of a slump down the stretch last year, or at least for his standards, but had a thumb injury that which he just got corrected. So I'm encouraged by that. I'm expecting some more, typical Joe Ram numbers here in 2023. A 30-20 type of year with a bunch of RBI, runs scored, and a solid average as well. No concerns with Joe Ram. After him, the next 4 you could put in any order. I have Witt number 2, one of the only rookies ever to come off a 2030 season, had 80 runs, 82 runs, 80 RBI as well. With some, improvements in year 2, which is up, not out of the question for a young player that also has shown more patience and power in the minor leagues. A potential 25-35 year with 90 plus runs in RBI and a 270 average is not out of the question. So love the upset of Bobby Witt Jr. He's a fine back end first round selection. Manny Machado, one of the safest guys out there, like him or hate him, and I know he rubs people the wrong way, but this dude is just an absolute fantasy stud year in, year out. You can pencil him in for 30 home runs, 100 RBI, 90 plus runs, 8, 9, 10 steals, and a pretty good average. And I don't expect that to change. I expect even more production out of him, especially in the RBI and run scored department, because he's going to have a full year of Juan Soto. He's going to have a full, well, we hope a full like 130, 140 games out of Tatis as well. You get those 3 back to back to back, 2, 3, 4, in whatever order they want to put him in. It's going to be a lot of RBI for Machado with those guys around him. He could push 140, 150 RBI this year with Soto on in front of him. That is definitely possible. Devers, another guy that had a slight down year for his standards, still hit 295, 27 home runs, 88 RBI, 84 runs scored. This Boston team kind of checked out down the stretch. A lot of guys. His metrics are still elite, especially in the quality of contact department. The approach is still solid. He's still only 26 years old. No concerns with Devers. I expect him to have another top 25 caliber season. And Austin Riley is basically turning into the third base version of Pete Alonso at first base. Decent average, 260, 270, 280 range, give or take. I don't think he's going to be hit 300 again, but 270, definitely possible. With 35 plus home runs, 90 plus runs, 90 plus RBI. It's a very good 4 category guy in a very good Atlanta lineup. Again, a little down to Arenado. He's not what he used to be in Colorado, but hey, 293, 30, 103 is very solid. He's going to be hitting in the middle of a good St. Louis lineup. Top 50-ish ADP, very fair. It's a solid 4 category guy, and he could probably get those runs scored back up again in 23. So I like him in his ADP. He's fair there. Bregman, everyone knows I've never been the biggest Bregman guy, but he did have a nice bounce back year. Quality of contact, has kind of stayed in line with his career rates. His approach is as elite as ever, maybe even the best, of the last few years. Had more walks than strikeouts last year. He's not going to run at all, but just a really good, 3 to 4 category guy, and probably the last of the elite options here, depending on how you feel. But this next guy, Gunnar Henderson, I love Henderson. I can see why you'd want to stay away from him as a, first full year player. But after him is where it really drops off hard. Henderson has 2020 potential right off the bat. I think Baltimore's lineup is going to be pretty solid as well. He is a lefty hitter, so won't be affected by that deep left field very much there. Got to get hit for a good, solid average and get on base at a high clip as well, which he showed 348 OBP in his rookie year. So going right around pick 100 or so. You might have to reach a little bit for him since he's the last, of the third base before it drops off. So don't be surprised if you gotta, maybe go up into the 80s or 90s to get him. But for a rookie, I feel okay taking him in that range. I like Henderson a lot. Next, you'll see a lot of different 9, 10. That's pretty, standard 1 through 8, at least in terms of the 8 names there. But 9 and 10, you'll see probably a lot of different, opinions and different players here, whether you look at my rankings or others. 9, 10 for me, I got Jose Miranda and Keep Brian Hayes. Miranda is actually the guy I've gotten a lot in early, drafts and mock drafts, a guy that had a pretty solid rookie campaign. The metrics are decent. They don't stand out a ton, but he doesn't strike out a lot. Does also not a big walk guy either, so maybe a little bit lower OBP. But this guy can hit 270 to 280, low to mid 20s home runs, maybe 80 to 90 RBI. That's again, maybe you looked at more from your corner infield spot, but that might be what you have to take from your starting third base spot here. And again, he's a guy that even for a 24-year-old that's going to be going through his second full season, I think he's pretty safe in terms of as safe as you can be for a player like that. Like the bat a lot. I think it's a very legit bat that's going to have a pretty long major league career. And then at 10, I mean, I guess keep Brian Hayes. He had 20 deals last year, but only hit 244, 7 home run. Basically, anything with the bat was a bit underwhelming. The speed has always been there. And I still think like he's always been limited by something, right? I think there was a thumb, there's other injuries. I think maybe a shoulder issue at one point or a hip or something like that. It's like almost like a game of operation with Keith Brian Hayes at this point. But the raw tools are still there to have a top 6. He could probably jump into the top 100 overall players. Like he has that upside. The power's there. Hits too many ground balls, but the hard hit rate has been there. Barrel rate dropped a ton, largely due to that ground ball rate, which affects the barrel rate. But hard hit rate's been above 45% in every season so far. K rate are right around 21, 22%. Walk rate around 8 to 9%. So I think if you want to take a chance at some upside there, if you miss out on one of the top 8, he'd probably be my choice. Some other intriguing names. You got Josh Young a little bit further down. Like him a lot this year as well. I think he's going to be, maybe just as good as Jose Miranda. I think they profile pretty similar, maybe even a hair towards Young long term, but he's just starting out next year. Miranda's got a little bit of a proximity and experience on him already. Mondesi, I don't know. It's just, if you want to take a shot, his ADP is actually not bad now in the 230, 240 range. That's actually not bad. Suarez, you're getting power from him, not much else. Alec Boehm is fine, just lacks a lot of upside. Morel, pretty exciting, but I got a lot of Javi Baez in him where he's very volatile month to month. And then the last name here I want to mention is Max Muncy, who got back to being the Max Muncy of old second half of last year, or really August on, once he got further and further away from his elbow injury. So if you want to take a stab, a little bit later, and you want to wait to like pick 160, 170, or wherever he's going, I think he's in that range. Muncy is a pretty solid bat to go after as well. But that's going to wrap up this video for my early third base rankings here. Thanks to tuning in again to the Fantrax YouTube channel. Hit subscribe button below to check out all of our other fun videos, and we'll see you next time.